Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Marianne and you're watching Marianne's Mystic Mentions. And welcome to your first half of December readings. In my normal fashion, I have a little bit of a protocol I like to follow for those that are new. Welcome, especially. Thank you. I love everybody, new, returning, of course. I appreciate your loyalty and your love. And so what I do is I pick for a featured sign every day by going around my zodiac wheel. And that's what the reading is predominantly about and for. And then Spirit has me pick a highlighted connection, which is another person or energy or characteristic that's going to be predominant for some reason. I'm just the messenger, and it's done right in front of you for the first half of the month. And you might know this person, or you might understand very clearly right away and resonate, or it may be something that's coming in still and it's not notable at this time of the reading. Then I read 4 major categories for this highlighted connection and for every single connection of love in regards to the featured sign, and then I finish with 2 oracle messages. So let's get started, shall we? I am on the beautiful water element, moon ruled, and extremely sensitive, receptive, loving, nurturing sign of Cancer. I love Cancer. I love how they absolutely just put forth so much love and compassion for their families, and that's like a definite priority. They love the home. Their home is their castle. It's usually very, very well kept up and just exactly the way it needs to be for, certainly the family, but, people that are considered family, people that come over, very, very capable of being a great host or hostess, doesn't matter the gender. Usually very handy about being able to fix things around the home and so forth. And very, very caring, nurturing. Once again, the mother image and archetype comes through with the Cancer. And I've met many Cancers where that's absolutely the truth. Now, Cancer is a cardinal sign though, because there's cardinal, fixed, and mutable. And is there one more? Cardinal, fixed, and mutable. And I think that's it, yeah. There's 4 of each. So yeah, that makes 12 going around the zodiac wheel. And the cardinal is it is the sign that represents a new season. And you, beautiful Cancers, represent the season of summer. The summer solstice is your time. And it makes sense. It's the sun shining, the outdoorsy kind of feeling too, yes, you like your home and you like your privacy. You can be a little bit more introverted in some ways, as social as you may appear. You're not going to lead on and be open to just everybody. You like to sense things and feel things out. And you do that very well. It is a gift you have. You definitely can be very clairvoyant, very intuitive, very psychic. Water tends to have that beautiful gift. Some may not call it a gift, but it's there nonetheless. And, people definitely trust you when you have a hunch about something. They will listen to you a lot of times because you're basically always right. And you certainly understand the phases of the moon because that's your ruling planet. And the moon definitely affects us, and it affects our moods. And so there are times that you feel more moody than others because you're very much in tune with all of this. So I absolutely love you. We did finish the Scorpio season. We are now definitely in Sagittarius, so there's a definite change in that. However, I'm going to mention just a couple of things astrologically because it always ties into everyone's life, whether we feel it or not, and certainly the Tarot and the guidance and messages are one and the same. They're intertwined. And so we had a beautiful lunar eclipse, full moon in Taurus, which is a very compatible energy for you, an element, you being water, Taurus being earth. We also have Venus, the planet of love and, magic and money and just beauty and feeling good and just so many wonderful feelings and very feminine energy, which happens to be the ruling planet of Taurus that the full moon was in. So it really shined a light on that. Those eclipses, anytime we have an eclipse moon versus the regular full moon, which is always potent in itself, it can last upwards of 6 months or longer from the effects. So I feel like I always say my love connections don't have everything to do with romance, but it certainly does. And I think it was a lot of that came into the picture. And it could be new romance. It could be, romance you've already been in that's going to a different level. It could be, bringing in, exciting new avenues within that relationship, like children or, a new home and all the going into business together, if you're romantic or otherwise, family, all the variables are there. But I'm going to pick your highlighted that Spirit wants me to share with you and say that the new moon eclipse, because they always go in pairs, is going to be the last of its series of the Gemini Sagittarius in the sign of Sagittarius, as we are in Sagittarius season. That's the fire in us. That's the motivation, the inspiration, the optimism. Fire energy can be Mars ruled a lot of times. It's very passionate. It can be quite controversial, and very outspoken in a lot of ways. However, the fire energy from Sagittarius is one of the most upbeat and, optimistic. Jupiter ruled. Jupiter being the planet of benevolence and luck and opportunities and expansion, anything it touches, which can be, problematic in some ways, but I'm not looking at that. I mean, there's incredible magic and wonderful things, certainly when it comes to love, when Jupiter's in the mix. So that's what we've been in, and we're going to continue in that until it goes into Capricorn season on the 23rd of December. So 22nd, 23rd. I'm already feeling it. I need that. I don't know about you. It's been quite an interesting month in November for me, and Uranus has been very much a part of that. It was very much conjuncting this full moon, and Uranus is in the sign of Taurus as well. So the unexpected, unpredictable, freedom, out of the box, new information, experiences, occurrences. I broke a bone. I couldn't work. It was just like, what? It happened in 2 minutes. It's really important, even during Sagittarius season, that we are a little more careful and cautious, because it's one thing to say we're going to be careful, but we can't control everything, right? So just being very aware, and it's not to be, fearful, for heaven's sakes. We don't need that, that's for sure. That never helps anything. But to ask for that extra guidance and just to take it a little bit slower, because there is a faster pace that's happening. So your highlighted connection, beautiful Cancer, for the first half of the month of December is Taurus. There you go. Yeah, there's a lot of, like I said, it's a lot of energy in Taurus. We're all feeling that. And I love it for the sense that it's an earth sign, like I said, very compatible with water. Earth and water just work together. Water feeds the soil. Water helps things to grow with the seeds that are planted by the practical, grounded, stable, reliable, which you love, Cancer. You love that kind of energy. You want that security and that stability with somebody. You don't want to be second guessing. Are you going to be here? You're going to be gone tomorrow? No one really knows, but there's long-term investments when it comes to the earth signs. And then we had Venus, like I said, in Capricorn. And that's going to be there for a very long time, because we're in the shadow period right now. It actually goes into retrograde from the 19th of December through the 28th or 29th of January, and then it goes into shadow till around the beginning of March. So it's important during that time to really set the record straight, really be very, practical and honest and, dedicated, and just considering the long term, okay? So you don't want to rush into it during retrogrades. That's one thing, excuse me, about any retrograde, but especially Venus, when it has to do with a lot with love, or things you might want to do aesthetically, is always something to be very aware of, because it may not turn out the way you want. So just do things that won't be so permanent, okay? Especially with the influence of the permanence of the Capricorn and the Taurus, and then the unpredictability of, Uranus still in the picture. Just have fun and enjoy, and just take the time to be more patient and just kind of thinking things through, maybe, and enjoying yourself. I mean, there's so much fun to be had during the holidays. I hope everybody had an amazing Thanksgiving. I'm recording these at the last couple of days of November, and if you celebrate that, I It was fabulous, and I always pray that everybody has that opportunity. And so, yeah, Taurus. Fixed sign, Venus ruled. Money sign. I mean, there could be amazing things going on for people that just come out of the blue. I don't know how else to say it. That can really, really change your life and the trajectory of where you're going, or you have a windfall that's from perhaps an inheritance. It doesn't always have to mean a death. Maybe playing the lottery, you never win unless you play it, right? So I'll set this over here. But I love this, Cancer. I feel really good about this. You may know exactly who I'm speaking of, like I said, or it could be somebody coming through. Those new moons, and especially eclipses, are like moons on steroids. So the new moon on the 4th, right around the corner, is going to bring in some pretty incredible stuff. Like it's literally just happening at the end of this week. So I'm excited. And I send incredible love and healing, beautiful, powerful energy for the best and the most for you. I am using, and I will start reading the 4 major categories for you. And for the first half of the month, I'm using this beautiful deck I love called the Star Spinner Tarot. It's colorful, it's light. I love the way it feels. It has beautiful illustrations, and it's easy to read and understand the symbols and whatnot. So the first category is the overall energy bringing you to the reading. If you have not had a chance to look at the last portion, half of the month of November readings, you might want to check that just as a reference as to how things have gone, because that was part of the whole full moon, and now we've got this new moon and just a whole different energy, to be honest. So I hope that's exciting. Let's find out your overall energy for this highlighted connection of Taurus and all of your connections, Cancer, whatever they may be. Is this a 7 of Swords? Let me put on my spectacles here. These cards are still relatively new to me. I've only brought this out a few times. It is the 8 of Swords. Okay. Well, you've had a lot of thoughts and things going on, and guess what? Sometimes when we think too much, or conversations were had that were they confused us. They brought us into a state of concern and worry. And I will say that a lot of water signs have that tendency. Maybe things were said that kept you up at night thinking, oh my gosh, what if that happens? And that's what happens when you turn on the TV. It is. There's all these thoughts that you were perfectly fine, and then it just kind of goes right into that psyche, right? So just a word to the wise. You really want to recognize that a lot, especially as a water element. This is an air element, which is all about the mind. We have Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius, a very, very prominent energy. And that's going to be there through the end of, Jupiter will be in Aquarius till the end of December, around the 28th, 29th, when it goes into Pisces, which is going to be extremely, extremely positive for you as a fellow water sign. And it'll be in Pisces on and off through 2022. So that's incredibly great news. This is information and worries that kept you up in the last, maybe the full moon really presented something to you that you really didn't expect. It was an understandable time with a lot of things happening that were not expected. This is what I'm gathering from this. Information and talks that were, that really kind of made you stop and think, I'm not comfortable. I don't like this. I feel like it was all outside. It is just the thoughts. It's so easily changed. It's self-induced many times. It's how we're taking it in. And it's not like I'm saying you're negative or you should be, don't be looking at it that way. Well, it's easy to say, right? I do it often myself when you just get that gut feeling for a second. And it's asking you to just do your best to let that go, because you have the power. You actually are in control of this, whereas there's many things we're not. You can change this in a heartbeat. When you start to have those feelings that are overwhelming is when you can sit and utilize your incredible gifts and your higher power and your understanding of intuition and the ability to say, this is what I choose to have happen. This is what I'm going to manifest. And that's how simple it can be. So you have come into it with some fears and the reality about this card that I love, and I'm seeing it more clearly, is there's a very loose binding, or what do you call it when, blindfold around this bird who clearly can be free from all of these concerns. And it's a woman who's actually a bird, because we can free ourselves from our thoughts way quicker and more readily than we can a lot of other circumstances. And it's letting you know that there's nothing here that's really confining or constricting this entity except the thoughts. So you want to really be responsible for understanding that. And it helps so much. It's a matter of a heartbeat to change it. And that's good, because that's what we want to do as soon as we get in the month, so we can be free of that, right? So that's for the overall energy that you're feeling as you're coming into it. And no, you are never trapped. You are never, it's only, it's a thought process that makes us believe that. And I like I said, I certainly understand that all too well as an air sign that's always thinking and always adding things to stuff that doesn't really need to be. And then you start feeling it in your body and you're feeling a little tense and you're like, oh, I'm tired. I don't know if I can do that. It all just starts to do its thing. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. We don't have to. The possible blessings or obstacle is the next category. And I'm really curious, because it can be a blessing if, knowing that you have an ability to change your thoughts. The Knight of Coins. Okay. Clearly maybe something, and I mean, it makes sense, because, the swords represent institutions, maybe medical, certainly banks, loans, that sort of thing. It's a very prominent part of the air element, and, the information you get and the people you talk to, and whether it's right or wrong or confusing, which can cause him upset. But the Knight of Coins is about your finances, your stability, your practical side, which is the Taurus energy, that highlighted aspect yet again, Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo. You may know that you may have these energies in your own natal chart, so that happens a lot too when you're reading. I always suggest you watch your Sun, Moon, Ascendant, and Venus for even more information about yourself, because you're way more than the Sun sign, but the Sun sign is essential. I mean, that's our, our birth month, our time, the date we're born, our sun, the sun just illuminates us and gives us the energy and the desires and the choices, right? Our personality and so on and so forth. The ego that helps drive us, right? To do the things we want to do. But the Knight is a messenger, and something's happening with the money. And like I said, it's a slower moving energy when it's earth elements, but it's long term. So you may have been told something or heard something, or you were confused and you're upset and you were like feeling trapped about this, like there wasn't another way to see it or feel about it. Not the case ever. And that will be brought very quickly, because as slow as a moving, slow energy as this is, the Sagittarius new moon is not slow. So that'll kind of overseed. Is that how you would say that? Circumsede? I don't know exactly. But what I'm trying to say is that will overrule, there you go, the energies of the slowness of the Knight of Coins. But it will not take away from the fact that it can be a long-term, beneficial, prosperous time, okay? Whatever you're planting now, whatever you believe now, will see great results. As I said, these eclipses can last 6 months, sometimes 18 months in a lifetime. Maybe something you're starting now, having a little bit of concern, and then next thing you know, you're like, nope, it was correct. I'm on the right path. That's a blessing or an obstacle. It's all going to be up to you and how you're thinking about it. But I feel like it's a blessing, because it does show me there's a foundation of stability and great things in your physical life, the things that we live on this three-dimensional plane for, to be honest, right? And everyone has their own desires and, wants and that sort of thing. So this is a general reading, but that is excellent. I would say it's a blessing. Be prepared to hear some changes in monetary or, your practical life, your home, your job. Maybe a few more offers, maybe a few more opportunities, or starting your own business and so forth. Just the beginning. We got to take one step in front of the other, right? The third category is that of finances. So I'll be curious to see if this just, grows as the storyline, continues. And it is also about your wealth. It's not only just about money and what you consider to be wealth, whether it's relationships or, certainly your health, your well-being, or yes, definitely wealth, investing in things and putting money aside and saving for the rainy days and that sort of thing after an incredible, oh, I love this. This has come out more than I had imagined it would, but it's so perfect. It does represent Aquarius, which I said, Jupiter in Aquarius is beautiful for every one of us when it comes to being able to express ourselves and have information that we want that's truthful and fair and just. It's about helping the world. This is a water barrier sign as an Aquarius. They're an air sign, and they're all about learning and teaching and discussing and communicating and connecting. They're very social, very strong, straightforward, really. They don't really have to mince words about things. But this is the water barrier that represents sharing the important knowledge that's going to get you places you need to go. And that's what's so important to Aquarian energy. And that's your money. The star is the actual card. The star is the dreams and the wishes that you've worked for, that you believe in, that you create every moment of your life. So you want to be very careful about what you're thinking, right? So you don't create that, because our thoughts do become things. They are actual energy. And we all obviously think things sometimes we don't want to, but as long as you're aware of that and you stop it as soon as it starts, you're good to go. But this is beautiful. This is creating and then having a dream actually come true, because you don't give up. The Aquarian energy is a fixed sign, very determined, as that of Taurus. So there was a lot of fixed energy in the month of November, because we were still in Scorpio season at the beginning, and the second half until the 22nd, fixed sign. Taurus, full moon, fixed sign. Aquarius and Jupiter and, Saturn, both in the sign of Aquarius, all fixed energy. So it has its beautiful attributes, as we all do, and it has the shadow side. I'm thinking it's beautiful. I'm thinking you're so determined that you're not going to be worrying yourself at night anymore. You have the faith, you have the capability, you are a manifester. So there's the one so far major arcana, which is very important information that needs to be shared with you. Keep believing, keep manifesting in that way, and never let go of your dreams. Be like that child, when you're young, you're like, oh, I want to go to Disneyland, I want to do all these things. And it does happen, as children, we're great manifestors. But the final category I love is the surprises and wishes category. So I'd like to see what Spirit has in mind for you and what you actually have been creating on your own, because that star is a real good beginning, I'll tell you. To not ever, as above, so below. The water being poured from one jug usually to another for, the balance and the continual learning and understanding of life, of ourselves too. So the final category, surprises and wishes for you, beautiful Cancer, is the Knight of Chalices, your sign. Okay, so yeah, the cups, the chalices, the Cancer, the Scorpios, the Pisces. The Knight has some really important information, and I think it's about love. I think it's about incredible fulfillment of your emotions, and you don't have the worries. You don't feel those worries. You have the Knight of the coins for the, the structure and the practical and the secure aspects of your life. You've got the Star for your finances because your dreams are coming through. You're doing something right. You've got the Knight of Chalices offering you absolute happiness, well-being. Now the Knights, creativity, something really beautiful that you want to manifest. It could be once again, a new opportunity, maybe opening your own store, starting a YouTube channel, just feeling beautiful. And there is romance here. There's definitely romance connected. But like I said, with the Tauran energy that came through in the full moon as a Venus ruled sign, it's hard to not have that be the predominant of these readings. However, you can love your family so dearly, or a best friend, or a co-worker, your animals. Oh my gosh, you know, that could certainly be a night to you, you know? I'm serious. This is, it's a beautiful, beautiful card. And maybe you don't know about this person yet. Maybe that new moon is going to bring it in. And I hope it does. And I hope you are ecstatic about it and know how worthy you are, you know, and that you are always being heard and you're always divinely guided. So I absolutely love this. And you know what else? You've got every single, well, there's actually 2 references to the swords, which is the air element, because you have the 8 and then you have the, you know, the Aquarian major arcana of the star, but then you've got the coins and yourself, the water, you're receptive, you're feeling your energy. It doesn't have to be a male, of course, it could be a female. It's just, it's definitely, your heart is full. Your heart is definitely full. And there can be some amazing transformative things coming through. That's what really happens in the last month of the year, you know, to start the new year, and it's on. It really is. So I hope that you can resonate in some way with this reading right now. But I am going to finish with your 2 oracle messages. The first is the wisdom of the oracle, and that's how I feel about oracle at all. The divinations of oracle is just this incredible wisdom, their genuine desire just to enlighten us and to remind us of things we actually know, to encourage us in life, to send as much love and, you know, guidance as possible. And that's what I feel of every single oracle. I want to get more, but every oracle deck I have just reminds me and just brings out such beautiful, beautiful messages. So your message for the first half of December is going to be observer. Okay, I like this. And this, like I said, this is with retrograde Venus. You want to really kind of observe and just not feel like you have to rush. You'll know, you know very well, Cancer, many times before a lot of other people, before the person in question knows. But you're not really going to just be like, oh, no, you're going to give it time. I do believe that very strongly. And just taking in, like you usually do, just kind of being aware of your surroundings, your energy, reading the room, feeling the room, using your beautiful powers. And it's number 49. That's a 13, and that becomes a 4. And 4 in numerology is stability and foundational, you know, comforts. And yeah, that earth kind of thing, you know, that strength and putting our feet and planting them strongly on the ground and feeling that, you know, that sense of balance and presence. And then you have that, to me, it looks like a new moon, certainly getting more new than not. So once again, something, you may already know you're waiting on something, let's just say that, but it will be revealed, it will be told you, certainly not necessarily on the day of the new moons, but you will definitely know, I want to say, by the Capricorn energy coming up on the 22nd or so. Let me read to you what it says, though, also, because it has some beautiful, like I said, eloquent things to say inside. So 49, right at the end here, is perspective, objectivity, neutral observation from a distance. That's the essential meanings. The oracle's message is, most people see the world through a personal lens. They closely identify with their feelings and experiences, so much so that they come to believe that these are the only reality. Guilty as charged. There are times when you need to distance yourself in order to gain perspective and understand your circumstances from a more neutral vantage point. Now is one of those times in your life. This is a perfect moment for you to begin to do some exploring. Instead of only considering yourself, consider what you need to understand about the conditions, people, culture, and environment you're engaged with now. You'll be so happy you did. Illumination is the miracle you seek and will indeed find. And it is a miracle to have that feeling and to be clear of worries and concerns, but just to allow beautiful divine intervention, you know, timing and all that sort of thing to come in and just kind of surrender and enjoy yourself in the meantime and be at peace with what is, you know, and keep those dreams and wishes, of course. Messages are coming through, though. You'll have answers, okay? So I love that. I think it's beautiful. I do feel that you are very in tune with being an observer. I really do. I think that's perfect for you to have gotten that. And I'm going to finish with your Super Attractor Manifestation deck, where you can create the life you want by feeling it into existence, because you're extremely sensitive and capable of that. You're very sentimental too, if I didn't say that. Talented, capable, I mean, the list goes on, you know. And yeah, I've had very many close relationships and relatives that were Cancer that you know, they're still with me, and they're not here on the physical plane, but they will never leave my heart, my mind, you know, they're always a part of my life. They're very present. So in closing, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Do like if you liked it. That's always a really cool, wonderful way to support my channel. Follow me as a subscriber, which would be really cool, because I'd love to, you know, up the ante there. And yeah, that's all. I greatly appreciate it for those that are doing that for me. And then your beautiful message is, when I'm tuned into the energy, of course, there you go. There's that energy thing and how you do so well. When I tune into the energy of abundance, I become abundance, because that's exactly how it works. This is the law of attraction. It's a law. There's no cutting corners. It just is what it is. Like attracts like. When you're upset and you put that out, that comes back in some way, you know. But you're into the energy of abundance, and that's what you're creating. And that star was very representational of that. So, yay! Good stuff, good times. Interesting years, right? A couple of years. We're going to go into a 6th year. It's going to be more balanced and absolutely more mellower in a lot of ways for everybody, okay? But don't take my word for it. Just sit and observe and believe. And come on back for your mid-December readings, because that's right around the corner, and there's lots more to tell you about that as well. So thank you again for your time. Till next time, bye for now.